One of the most rewarding parts of creating Senior Spotlight is bringing attention to seniors who fully deserve it, but who would never ask for it. The humility and grace with which these young men and women handle modern-day stresses and balance college-level courses with demanding extracurricular schedules are an inspiration, and the senior you're about to meet is no exception. In this episode, we travel to Washington High School, where one senior's incredible drive has inspired lifelong fans. Whether you're a fan watching from the bleachers,
actions do speak louder than words, and she's one, you can say everything you want, but she's going to show you on the court.
Or her opponent on the floor.
Just a relentless competitor, In fact, sometimes to the point people, the opponents look and think, boy, that kid's mean. But, that's just how she plays the game. And when it's over, it's done, and talk to your teammates and move along. But, just in the heat of the moment, she's all in. You can see it in her eyes and her body language that's all she's worried about for those next couple minutes.
Or even her teammate.
That's the biggest thing for her too. And like I said, she's a competitor, but she's one, which I've used her as an example, through many of my players say, be like Samiya, which the younger players probably get sick of hearing that all the time, where she competes, but then as soon as she's off the court, then she's the nicest person. It's like, you don't have to be super nice on the court, because basketball is a physical sport, given you don't want to be dirty, which she's not, but just, yes, she competes, and then she's super nice and just very soft-spoken, and just someone where it's just like two completely different people.
Samiya Jami is impossible to ignore on the basketball court.
She's a competitor. I mean, if I would just sum up Samiya just in one word, she's a competitor. And you need that for for basketball, as far as practices. Throughout the season it gets a little old sometimes, and to get better as a team, you need them competing against each other. Just kind of the whole iron sharpens iron thing. Not only will she get better, but all her teammates will get better, and that's what she brings every day. Being a post player, it gets pretty physical. And there were many times, which I can kind of laugh about it now, but I was a little worried at first that they were getting pretty physical. Even one of her best friends, several times. And I was like, gosh, I think they're going to fight. And as soon as practice is over, yeah, they're shaking hands, laughing it up, and it's just, you don't see that a lot, and so she's just one of a kind, just in that aspect, and that carries over to everyone. So everyone competes, everyone gets better.
Samiya is a kid that last year, as a junior, we didn't expect her to be a starter for us, but she came in and really earned those minutes and maintained those minutes. And when we got to the end of the season, she was our leading scorer, leading rebounder. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch her mature. That being said, she had a very good freshman year, and we kind of had some expectations of her. And then as a sophomore year, she kind of limped through the whole year. She was injured a little bit. So to see her, again, it goes back to the driven part of that. To see her bounce back from what was a difficult sophomore year physically for her to perform the way that she did for us last year is just, it's awesome to see any kid bounce back and show that type of improvement. And it's really special to see her because she's one that, again, she keeps it humble. It's not about her. And, she treats people the right way. She wants to be a good student. She wants to be a part of the Warrior tradition.
Part of that Warrior tradition is not just participating in your own events or interests, but supporting those classmates who participate in others too.
Yeah, she's at pretty much every single game, supporting everyone.
I think just having, if you're nice to them, they're nice to you, but just having that community behind you, and then they'll do the same. If you have one behind them, they'll do the same for you. It's like a good thing. It's a nice thing to have, that they've watched you and they've watched you grow, and they want you to succeed in everything, and they support you.
It's also about being a student athlete, with the emphasis on student.
I'm taking 2 AP classes, AP Environmental Science and AP Seminar, which is a new one. I'm actually really, I was really excited for the AP Seminar just because it's new, and it's both of my AP classes are preparing me for what I'm going to see next year and challenging me. Last year I was in AP Psych, and then the year before that I was in AP World History. Just this year, this year is definitely harder than any other years. So I'm just like, I'm not excited to do all the work, but it's preparing me for what I'm gonna see next year.
Knowing that next year is on her mind already is not a foreign concept to those who know her.
You know, you look at so many of the things, I always go back to the circle of courage. And, you know, belonging is something that she makes sure that people feel like they belong. But I really see the mastery and the independence with her. The mastery is again, she's very goal-oriented, very driven. I see this thing and I'm going to work on it and I'm going to keep doing it until I get better. And the independence part that I see is, I think she's going to be really ready for college, more so than a lot of kids leaving high school, where she's responsible, she balances her time very well, very focused. She's a kid that we have AP study hall out in our commons area. And a lot of times you'll see kids out there who are playing cards and, you know, doing those types of things. And she's always got a book open. She's always got something that she's working on. And again, I think she just wakes up every morning and breaks her day down into what she's going to do at what minute of the day. The drive is not uncommon. The consistency of doing it every single day and you know, week after week, month after month is what makes her unique in my mind. You know, there's a lot of kids who can get really narrowed down, let's say it's semester time and I'm going to study for my test for the next 2 days. But I just see her, the way that she handles life is, you know, day by day, step by step, and very detail oriented. And it just seems like she has a plan every day for how that's going to go.
While she certainly has made a huge impression on the basketball court,
as teachers, as coaches, you know, we're not supposed to have favorites, but you know, I can say that Samiya will always be one of my favorites. She's just the perfect player. As far as she came in as a freshman, she's, you know, tall, strong, you know, had a lot of natural talent. But as far as fundamentals, she was pretty raw. You know, but she's one that very coachable. I can honestly say she got better every single day. She's one that when you tell her something, you can tell that she's, you know, that it's sinking in, and you could see her actually trying it on the basketball floor.
Very, very humble. One of the things I noticed as a freshman, she wasn't out on our varsity squad, obviously, but hung around us and sat down, talked with coaches, wanted to watch practices, those types of things. But I do remember very clearly that she was one of the first freshman kids. When we were done speaking, she stood up and reached out and shook your hand and you know, made eye contact with you. And it's a little thing, but it's a really big thing for a freshman kid to feel that comfortable and to want to speak to you and, you know, handle things in a mature adult way.
her greatest love is on this court, where she helped lead her team to the championship game this year.
It was a lot of fun. Definitely didn't end the way we wanted to, ending in second, but I definitely would not want to have that experience with any other team. We're definitely like a huge family, and I love every single one of them. I think I've always liked volleyball more, just because I've played it more. Like I started like 4th or 5th grade, and for like with club, and then for basketball, it's just always been just a school thing, and I really haven't done like extra things with that. So I think it's always been volleyball.
And after this season of basketball and the track season, it'll be volleyball she's playing at the next level.
I'll be playing volleyball at Bemidji State University. My major is going to be criminal justice.
It's another example of something she made happen for herself.
Whatever she decides to do, I mean, she's going to be successful. Even, you know, like I said, she's one that kind of went out and did the recruiting for herself a little bit, you know, for volleyball. You know, I've had many conversations with her. She's just, yeah, she's a go-getter. You know, she's not afraid that, you know, if she has a goal, she's going to do whatever it takes to get that goal. So whatever she decides to do in life, I know she's going to be successful.
The thing that we really like about her, and I know volleyball and her teachers like as well, is she's just driven. She's very, very driven to be successful. And you know, that shows in the way that she performed as a basketball player. It also shows in the way that she went out and obtained a volleyball scholarship. And in the classroom, I think it's much the same way as well, just a very driven individual.
It's that intrinsic motivation that draws people in and inspires them.
As a coach, it's you know, it's like that's what you want them to, is just compete every day. And so I think every coach would admit is that that's what you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to run drills so, you know, you can get better at certain things, but get them to compete. You know, have fun, compete. But Samiya just brings that naturally. You know, so you don't kind of have to find ways to kind of or yell at them too much. You know, yeah, so get after it, because she's always getting after it, and that just carries over to everybody. Where they're all, you know, that's because if they're not going hard, you know, Samiya's going to get after you.
Another thing that's great about her is that she's really comfortable in her own skin. She's not a person that needs a bunch of praise. She's not a person that needs a high five. She's not a person that needs that individual attention. She just, you know, it's a lot of internal motivation. She gets focused on something and she knows when she's doing well. Now, every single kid likes it to be personal, but it doesn't drive her like it does with a typical high school kid.
It helps that Washington is an environment that fosters a breadth of experience, and it pays off when students spend a lot of time working hard together.
Everyone talks about, you know, which it's being a multi-sport athlete, you know, I mean, which is sad nowadays that so many athletes are just focusing just on one sport, and you know, but playing volleyball gets you better for basketball. It just goes across the line there to where, yeah, and then just having that chemistry. You know, you can have a lot of talent, but if they're, you know, if they don't have that chemistry, then that's not going to work. So obviously, if they're together on the volleyball court, if they're on the basketball court, that's going to all carry over there too.
I give credit to our administration. It starts from the top down. They just tell us it's an expectation that kids, we want them to be multi-sport athletes. And then the next step is for us as coaches to follow through with it. And Coach Schroeder has done a great job of helping to push kids into other sports. You know, we try to push kids into soccer and into volleyball as well. Coach Riley, as the track coach, also understands that during track season, kids are doing some other things. And we all have to give up our time. We give up our minutes. But I think it's better for the kids, you know. The difference between seeing that kid 4 days a week for an hour and seeing them 2 days a week for an hour and 15 or whatever it is, over the long run, this is just better for kids.
Just that bond stays together the whole year. Like we do track together too, and just we get to know each other more and trust each other more.
So what is it that makes her tick? Where does this drive come from?
I think just wanting to be more. Like I never want to be someone that is like everyone else. Just make like myself stand out more and want to be more than someone's gonna forget about.
There's little chance of that. At this fall's Washington High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction, Samiya was one of a handful of current student athletes invited to the banquet and honored for her achievements already.
But they're not here by accident. They're here because their coaches selected them because of their outstanding athletic abilities and also for their scholastic achievements. And we've got 6 of our best from Washington High here tonight.
And while she's eager to credit her club volleyball teams, her coaches, her teachers,
They've helped in multiple ways, not only just being on the court, just with everything like school, what I'm going to do in the future. They're just super encouraging and with everything that they talk about. I think just how everyone's so encouraging and wanting you to be like the best that you can, that there's a huge staff and huge student body that support you with everything. It's definitely a huge thank you to the whole school. I've seen like other schools and their seniors and how they like, just the way they do things, and I definitely wouldn't want to do it at any other school.
and her family.
Obviously my whole family, but my mom especially. She comes to everything, she drives me to all of my club tournaments that are in different states, and she's really like taken time out of her own personal ways and really helped me in that aspect.
It's the Washington High School community that's also thanking her.
I think if she had picked basketball, she could have been a Division II type basketball player. It was just that volleyball was the thing that she loved, and you know, again, I just go back to the fact that that's what she chose to do. I'm going to get a volleyball scholarship, and she started playing and getting extra swings and sending out recruiting videos, and you know, it kind of sums her up a lot for me in how she just handled that whole process.
So she came in as a freshman, as you know, pretty raw. You know, I didn't coach her in volleyball, but I'm sure the volleyball coaches would say the same thing. To where, you know, worked hard, great attitude, competed, and now she's considered one of the best, not only volleyball players but also basketball players in the state. She's one too that that I think I'll have a relationship with, probably the rest of her life there. She's one that when she goes off to college, I'm going to care what she's doing. I want to go see her play volleyball, just to find out how she's doing, because she's one of those just has an impact that you kind of just want to follow throughout their life.
She's someone who we know she's going to be successful. And again, that comes back to the driven thing. Where she goes with that, what she does with that is just the progression that I've seen her in these three, working our fourth year here. When she figures out what she wants to do, when she figures out where she wants to go, she really just jumps in with both feet, sticks her nose to the grindstone, and makes some progress with it.
One that you really want to cheer for, because she really deserves it, and just a person that you want to see be successful.
The Washington girls basketball season is just getting underway. Check out the calendar of events on Washington's page of the Sioux Falls School District's website to get game information. And find the track schedule for the spring to see more of Samiya.